So, yep. Okay, that works. Yay! Hey, guys. Thanks for joining us. I'm Bren, and welcome to another Garden Chat Live. I'm really excited to be on this event tonight with Shelly. I got to meet Shelly this summer. She actually made it to Ohio, and we got to meet in person, so that was really cool. Shelly, how long have you been doing fairy gardens?
Well, I got interested in fairy gardens when I was like in the 4th grade. I've always collected little miniature things. Whenever I went to the store, I would find like literally like the smallest toy I could find.
Right.
Collect it. And I always had my little, I called them my little people. And I had a little village. And then, later in life, I fell in love with Thomas Kincaid. He's like the old miniatures.
Yeah.
And every Christmas, we would go to Stats, this store that had this little Christmas setup. And they had this whole little miniature town set up, and everything was really lit up. So it's always been something that was a part of my life.
Yeah.
And,
Thomas Kincaid's kind of out in your area, aren't you? Because we talked earlier, you're on the West Coast, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And I guess I wasn't aware he has miniatures, like
Thomas Kincaid
stuff.
He makes, it's not gardening. I'm just saying because he's in the miniature world.
Okay.
And so that's how he actually inspired me. A lot of his little villages and things. He makes these little miniature homes and such. They're collectibles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so you can buy whole little villages and houses. And so I sort of got into it from that.
Okay.
And I've always been a gardener. So, when I blend the two, the miniature with the gardening, it sort of was a beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, that's very cool. Very cool. So I just shared a link. If you're joining us live on Blab, it goes to Shelly's YouTube page. If you go on YouTube, I think you just put Gild the Garden in the search bar, right?
Yes.
Very cool. And you'll pop up with all your cool miniature garden videos you do. I love them. They're great.
Yeah, thank you. I love making them. I did my first one last February was my first miniature garden video. I spent more time making the furniture than I actually did writing the episode.
Oh, wow.
If you see the episode, it's not, very complex in there is no complex script. It's just sort of my little miniature designs.
But no, that's cool.
Yeah, I love it. There's fairy gardens all over my apartment. They've literally taken over my apartment.
Oh no, that's a good thing. That's fun.
Yes. So yeah, it's fun. I really love it. It's just sort of a form of meditation for me, really focusing on these little minute details.
Oh, totally. And you do a great job. If anybody's ever seen your videos, they're very fun. You make it fun. So I have a question up. If you joined us in the Twitter event, I know this was one of the questions, but what is the difference between a fairy garden and a miniature garden? Is there a difference?
There is a difference, okay? So fairy gardening is relatively newer. Obviously, I said in the garden chat earlier, the actual act of miniature gardening derives from bonsai gardening.
Okay.
And then fairy gardening was actually introduced to the United States not too long ago. It was probably around 2009, 2010.
Okay.
Anyone can jump in and correct me if I'm wrong here, but I believe that's when, quote unquote, fairy gardening was introduced to the United States. Okay. And ever since then, it's just been, it's huge here. Okay. Not so much in Los Angeles.
Right.
In Southern California, it's not that big here yet, but I know fairy gardening in particular in the Midwest is all the rage.
Okay. Very cool. What inspires you to put these together? Is there something that inspires you? You have so many different designs. You do. They're cool.
You know what? I really enjoy teaching children gardening. Mm-hmm. And every little miniature fairy garden in my garden and inside that a child has seen. And when I say child, I have lots of children on the block here. Yeah. They come in, they come out. We're so open. You know, they garden with us. They always ask me, hey, can I help you? And I'm like, sure, start digging. So, you know, I let them come in and see my little fairy gardens, and their eyes open up so wide. And I put two and two together, like, wow, you know what? This is a really perfect way of engaging children in the garden and getting them excited about it. So to be quite honest with you, I think a lot of it is just seeing the look on children's faces when I show them my little miniature gardens. And actually, wherever I go, and I bring a miniature garden. Like, for instance, I brought one for a friend of mine who was retiring, and everyone went crazy. They couldn't. They said, "What is this little thing? I've never seen this before."
Now, were these adults or were these the kids?
Adults. Those were adults. So, but it's mainly it's the children that inspire me to keep going.
Very cool. Yeah, I think, well, if the kids were over in my garden, I would kind of be like, here's a hoe here, and that's a weed. Help yourself. Lots of fun.
Right, yeah, they're great helpers. They really are. Right. But again, they have to be inspired.
Yeah,
you know, they don't just you know, want to start getting involved with gardening out of nowhere. Something has to have that. You know, they have to be initially inspired. So in my experience, a lot of the kids are inspired because of the miniature gardening. They're so small, you know, they can relate to it.
Definitely. So if you are joining us live on this Blab presentation, welcome. I'm Bren, your guest host, and this is Cheil of Gild the Garden on Twitter, and we are talking miniature gardens tonight. Let's see, if you're live, you have the advantage of you can ask questions in the chat bar here. Let's see, I think we have JJ Keller, or Gigi Keller, sorry, and I have my glasses on. We have designed miniature gardens at varying scales, from somewhat smaller than full size to the fairy size. That's interesting. I guess you can grow miniature gardens in different, I mean, is there really a cutoff? Like, is that too big to be a miniature garden?
Absolutely not. I've actually made like medium-sized chairs, like about that big.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I don't, you know, honestly, everybody might have their own opinions about, you know, scale, but honestly, you know, from this size to that size, it's a garden. You know what I mean? And I love that you can do it in containers. I've seen people do it in right next to trees. They'll put the little fairy door on a tree and then sort of build out, you know, with the miniature landscaping. Cool. I love
Very cool. Let's see. So it's Jeannie. Jeannie's in the chat room. I recognize you from past garden chats. I guess it'd be okay if you jumped in for a minute here if you wanted to describe that. I don't have a problem with that. We'll be okay, hopefully. If not, I'll boot you out. You've been warned. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Hopefully we can get her in here. How fun. Oh, there you are. Hey.
I'm going to plug in here so you can hear me better. Hold on one second.
That's what I love about Blab. It's neat to see the people behind the little profiles and the tweets, right?
Yeah.
Hey,
totally.
Gina, right?
Yes, thank you for letting me jump on.
Hi, Gina.
Fun topic to talk about.
So, you're a little quiet. Volume needs to go up or something.
Is that better?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, hold on. I'll just hold the microphone closer to my mouth.
Okay.
I do some work for a landscape company, a large firm, and when we do miniature gardens, they design them based on the age of the children, which is very unique. So each garden is custom designed to how old your child is and how big your child is. So the miniature size obviously for any child, you know, like you mentioned, they can see it, they can pick the small figurines up with their hands, and but a child that's, let's say, 11 or 12 and maybe isn't going to be drawn to the teeny tiny dollhouse size, but wants something that's a little more in tune with them and not a 70-foot oak, let's say. There's different ranges. So miniature is anything that's just smaller than natural, and it's exciting to see them done in all these different styles and different shapes and sizes. So.
Definitely. Very cool. That's one thing I'm noticing in the most unusual landscapes. I mean, I've seen some miniature gardens put together in like these multi-million-dollar home landscapes.
Right.
I mean, seriously, I saw a few on a Michigan landscape tour I went on last year. It was like, what in the world? Oh, that is so cool.
Yeah,
You know?
Designing them in and tucking them into spaces is what makes it so cool, because they're not always a feature because they're so small, but then you stumble upon them and they're very exciting. So Speaking of which, you mentioned that you have them all over your apartment. I mean, you just have them in windows, or?
I do. I have them. I have some hanging. I made this one today. Oh gosh, I don't know if you'll be able to see it. I made a little one.
I love this.
Great. Great.
Gina, I wanted to ask you. You mentioned that your landscape company does fairy gardening. Miniature fairy gardening is a part of your landscape company. I think that's something that is not included here in Los Angeles, because fairy gardening is relatively new. Is this something that started with your company recently, or how long have you been doing this?
I'll give you two answers to the question. The first answer is my company personally is Cheil Gardens, and I was at the international the Epcot Flower and Garden Show in 2013. And we were doing, we did a whole series of fairy garden presentations, and I can put a link up if you guys want to see it, because we did some. Yeah, it was actually a lot of fun. It was through Miracle Grow, as a program that they were working on, and they gave away all these little fairy gardens to all the kids, and they did some workshops. Cool. So it was great. So that was in 2013. It was popular enough at the time to do a national rollout for the Flower and Garden Show, which actually is coming up. This year's show is coming up in a few weeks. It starts. Yeah. So that's fairy gardens specifically, very similar to what you're doing, the figurines, fingertip sizes for, children, a mixture of true fairy figurines and other dollhouse type furniture. And so what the company that I write a blog and do social media for a company called Mariani Landscape. And we're a very large landscape company. We're one of the largest residential firms in the country. So everything we do is custom. So if someone wants a garden for their child, we will do whatever someone asks. If someone presents us with an image or an idea and they say, this is what we're going for, this is the energy, this is the emotion we're trying to get out of this, then we'll create it for them. And that's our goal. It's to make everything custom and gear it exactly toward what the customer wants. So it's twofold. It shows up in the business with Mariani Landscape, just because people have wonderful ideas and they have children and they want to reach out to everyone. But the real trend, the fairy garden trend, I think was at a high point in 2013.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really cool that you're doing that with your company. I had no idea that landscape companies were starting to include miniature landscaping.
And what we're seeing too is in the nursery centers, when you just go shopping, you can actually buy miniature versions of a lot of plants. So I'm sure you've heard of hostas, right? Everybody knows hostas, right? So you can actually go buy a miniature hosta that will not grow taller than 3 inches. The flowers will, but the leaves will only get about this, like about this big. So you can get a hosta that's truly a miniature cultivar. And there's a lot of plants that are like that you can get little miniature cultivars. And of course, you know this, but you can take all your smaller, interesting things and make them into fake things. Like you can take a lavender and make it into a fake tree, and you can take rosemary and make it into a fake evergreen, right? But as you mentioned with bonsai, all of those little bonsai trees, some of them are trained. They're all trained, but many of them are actually miniature cultivars. Genetically, they are miniatures, and that's what. Right. So that's what these kinds of plants are available. So it is very exciting what's out there. I mean, there is a lot available out there. Yeah.
Very cool. Right. So thank you, Gina. Thanks for popping in. It's great to hear from you.
And I will put that link right here if you guys want to check out the fairy gardens that we did.
That'd be great.
Just go there and check it out. And thank you very much. It was a pleasure to join you.
Great. Thank you.
See you soon. All right.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. Okay. Very cool. Wow. I didn't know that the landscape departments were into that so much. I mean, that's awesome, don't you think?
You learn something new every day. I mean, that's crazy to me. I love hearing that, though. You have no idea how much.
Very fun. So I have another question up. What are some of your favorite plants to use in a fairy garden?
Okay, well, I am in drought-ridden Zone 10B, Los Angeles, California. So a lot of my fairy garden plants are cacti, succulents. You can see. If you can see there. I had all these little miniature succulents, and so I just included them in here. They make perfect fairy garden succulents because, as Gina was saying, they don't grow much big. They're kind of like goldfish. You know, if you put a goldfish in a tiny container, it's not going to grow very much. But if you put it in a large container, it's going to grow like crazy. So when you have succulents and cacti in a contained environment, they don't grow much bigger than their surroundings. So I personally really love using those plants because they're not really sustainable, but they're just great plants because the roots are so shallow and you can do more with them.
Very cute. Oh, I love that. So I was able to pull up a couple of pictures. I don't know if I'll pull it up and maybe you can talk about it a little bit. And also, if you're in the chat room, please ask questions. We got Shelly here with us. She's the lady to ask about the fairy gardens, right? So here we go. Maybe we can talk about that a little bit. Can you see that? Oh, yeah, there it is. Sorry.
Okay, so this is my bonsai tree. This is actually you can consider it a bonsai garden or a miniature garden. I found these little sticks with the chair pointing at it. Actually, look, here you go, right here. That's that same chair there. I made this out of just little twigs that I found in the park. The shovel, I am obsessed right now with this miniature company. It's called Miniatures. You get them at Joann's. They have all of these cute all of the accessories in there are from that miniatures collection.
Very cute.
So yeah, whatever I find, wherever I am inspires me to do whatever fairy garden I make. So if I'm in the desert, I'm going to make a desert fairy garden. If I visit Ohio and I see this beautiful tree, I'm going to say, you know what, I'm going to make a fairy garden, you know, based on what I found in Ohio by that tree, you know, use and rock.
I sensed that in you when you were at my place and we walked back by the dome and that, you know, we were walking around and I kind of showed you the landscape I was working on around the deck. And, you know, in my head, I was going to use some brick that I had, a rock to kind of build that up. And you said, why don't you use pieces of wood and take, you know, like, I was like, oh my gosh, that is so smart. I have tons of it like all over. And I never thought of that. You're really good at that.
Thank you. Yeah, I always just kind of use what's around me. This little chair, I was walking one day and I found somebody had just trimmed this tree and I was like, gosh, I love how these little sticks are white, you know, and they're so whimsical. So I gathered a bunch of sticks and I just got a glue gun and made a chair. It's actually a lot easier than one might think.
I love that.
When you got number one time, number two, a glue gun.
No kidding. You did a really cute job. The moss that's on that, is that like real? Do you get that out of the yard or what are you?
This is just moss that you can find at Joann's or any craft store. You can also, moss doesn't do well here in the desert.
Sorry.
But no, this is fake moss that I just glued. Now I do want to give you a tip because I learned the hard way. If you are planning on using moss, glue gunning moss to your little fairy furniture, make sure you don't put it out in the sun because the moss is going to turn brown, even the fake moss. So make sure that if you're using moss on your furniture, then you're placing it in the
good tip there. And I feel kind of bad. I just saw the question. We have at Beth Billstrom, if you follow her on Twitter. We know her from Twitter. I met her last summer too. We went to the Veggie Trials and Chicago Flower Show, and so she was curious, what are your favorite fairy garden accessories, and do you buy or make them yourself? So I think you kind of answered that, right?
Well, I do want to add in one more thing. I do make a lot of my own, and I do buy some, whenever I see it. You mentioned to me that, you live in an area where you can't just, drive a block to Joann's Fabrics or whatever miniature store. So take something like this, for instance. Okay, this is it's just like a miniature
wheelbarrow. Yeah, wheelbarrow.
A little wheelbarrow. You can use things that you may already have to make this. Like if you just took skewers, and made this, got a button, made the wheel, and then if you just added a couple little popsicle sticks, so you can really use your imagination. Just because you may not have an accessory store nearby doesn't mean that you can't create something.
Right? No, that's exciting.
Yeah, I usually see something and I think, okay, what can I use to make that? A little pile of sticks for a fireplace. All right, here we go.
Oh, look at that.
You know what I mean? Tie a little knot. Just use your imagination. Use whatever nature is surrounding you.
That is very cool. And all these cool things you're showing, it's a great time if people are joining us right now on Blab. If you look on the screen there, you'll see a couple of hands like this. Tap on the screen if you like what's being shared. I love this stuff. Let's give her some props. Look at that. That's adorable. That is
another
really
little
cute.
Yeah, I was at Joann's Fabrics in the button. I walked down the wrong aisle into the button.
You made those.
Yeah. And I thought, gosh, you can make a little chair. These are from a champagne. Yeah. From a champagne cork, the wire. And all you do is just glue gun the two buttons and you got a little chair. It's you don't have to, you don't have to sit down and make this. You can just grab two buttons and a glue gun and make this.
That looks a little more complicated, but it's not the way you're saying it.
No, this actually is super easy. I can make this in 2 seconds.
Cool.
And so can anyone, I promise you.
That's cool.
This is fun. This is my best friend.
Okay, careful. Here we go. Oh,
glue gun.
I have one like that too. I've had it for years.
I'm telling you. All you need to make fairy
That
furniture.
is awesome. Yeah, we kind of earlier today when we did like a sound check, we kind of talked a bit, and I was stressing to you about how I really love looking at miniature gardens and fairy gardens because they're all over the place and they're just so magical. And I've been able to create a couple myself, but usually it's like, someone sent me the kit, or like I was saying, we don't have a whole lot of places in my area that sell them, fairy gardens year round. So usually when I get them, they're like, discounted things. It's not really something that, I was trying to ask you, like, how could I get motivated? Because I'm not really inspired by the little pieces. And you kind of shared something with me. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Were you talking about with collecting items from nature?
Yeah. Well, you suggested just go ahead and, make your own, like build your theme around.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry.
Right.
Yes. Okay. So, the thing with fairy gardens and what inspires me all the time is themes. I love fairy garden themes and miniature garden themes. That's a great place to start. For instance, if you are at the beach, that's you start collecting little seashells. Right. You start, think, I can use this blue sand, like here in the picture, as water. So if you're at the store or if you're online, you see blue sand. I mean, that is a perfect thing to use in a fairy garden. So I just sort of collect as I go. I never really sit down and draw a map of what I'm going to do. But when I do find things like blue sand, or if I'm at the beach and I find seashells, or like the stingrays here are made out of Jacaranda mimosifolia seeds.
What?
Jacaranda tree. Jacaranda trees are very popular in tropical areas. They sprout these beautiful, gorgeous flowers in the spring. In the fall and winter, you would never guess they were Jacaranda mimosifolia because they're not very attractive.
Right.
And so the streets of my neighborhood are lined with these beautiful Jacaranda mimosifolia trees. And I was walking down I go on a morning horticultural walk. I just like looking at all of the horticulture around my neighborhood. And I found these seeds on the ground. And immediately, my husband and I, we were like, stingrays, those look like stingrays. And so, bam, I said, hey, I'm going to make a seed-themed succulent garden. So if you want to know where to start, just think about the theme. Think about what theme works best for you. Enchanted, whimsical, beach theme. You could go with a Japanese theme and do, a bonsai garden. You can go with a country farm theme, and lots of miniature garden stores have little barns you can buy, and little rabbits and carrots. I don't know if you have that farm fairy garden photo, but yeah.
I just got how do you say that tree again?
Oh, Jacaranda.
Okay, say that 10 times. Just kidding.
Yes, I know, right? I'm gonna write it.
Actually, Gina shared the spelling on there. I wonder if she got that correct.
Oh,
Did you Google that, Gina?
Okay.
Very cool.
Yes.
That's fun.
So yeah, I would start there. Bren, if you want to do a lake theme, start maybe browsing online for little canoes that you can add in.
Oh, that's a good idea.
You know what I mean? Yeah, and start looking for little things in your garden that can resemble little whatever. If you try to make little, like I showed you, like a fairy garden fireplace stick.
That's
so you start collecting things and go from there.
Very cool. How fun. So we have quite a few people in the chat room with us today. Thank you for joining us. This is awesome. I want to do a shout out to Green Blessing. Arlena's in the house here. And of course at the Miniature Garden Society. Yeah, so actually our next question is that can you tell us a little bit about the Miniature Fairy Garden Conference that's coming up in my neck of the woods this summer in Ohio?
Perrysburg. Yes. This is the second annual Miniature Fairy Garden Conference. You can expect lots of workshops, especially workshops for children, because again, this is a great way to get them engaged in the garden. You'll find booths with fairy garden artists, with various accessories. It's going to be very interactive. I'm definitely going to be there. It's going to be an awesome show. I'm looking forward to it.
Very cool. That's exciting. Yeah, I don't know if Arlena wants to pop in for a minute here and do a shout out. That's fine too. I know, sorry, that's kind of last minute there, but how exciting. Let's see. Oh, Gina's asking about the Chicago Flower and Garden Show. I'm not sure if we'll be up there this year. We've got a lot going on, but it's a great show. I hope I can. Let's see. So Arlena is sharing that they have a lot planned. And I believe the last I looked on the Facebook page, it looks like they're going to be over at 577 Foundation Park, I believe. Correct me. Okay. And that's a gorgeous park. I've taken a lot of photos there, wedding photos too. I mean, just, it's a great park, great community up there in Perrysburg, and lots of neat mom and pop garden centers in the area. So it's very cool. How exciting. Yep. Okay. Arlena's agreeing. How fun.
Thank you.
So,
well, yeah. This is it's always fun when you have first annual, second annual, because everything's really new and you never know what to expect. So I guess that's what makes this really fun too. This is a brand new event. And so it's always going to be, improving. And I'm sure this year is going to be even better than the last year.
Let's see. So if you are joining us live in the chat room, please feel free ask any questions you might have about fairy gardens.
I'll just hold up another little tent I made here.
Oh, that's so cute. What are those little white things on the other side? They look like mums.
These are little potpourri pieces. I had this potpourri, and again, these are little sticks that I gathered in the park.
Cute.
And this is moss. All of the bases is little popsicle sticks that I covered. This is actually a really easy tent to make because you just get the two popsicle stick sides, glue them together, put them together, and then you can either, I mean, obviously this is like, I added a lot here, but you don't even have to do that. You can just leave the popsicle sticks and then you've got a tent.
Okay, so you did the popsicle sticks. They're kind of like staggered a little, maybe like that way and then that way.
The popsicle sticks are. Have you ever in grade school? Did you ever just make
a long time ago?
No. No. But did you ever just glue sticks together just to make
that's what that is. Okay.
Yeah, that's all it is. I just glued two pop. Yeah, you can actually see some of the popsicle sticks coming out. Popsicle sticks, and then all I did was glue the top.
That's great.
And again, it's an easy project for kids if all you're doing is the popsicle sticks, and then you got a little
I love that. I'll have to do that with my niece. That's really cute. Do you have that one on your YouTube page?
Yeah, this one's part of my the last fairy garden episode that I did. It's called Fairy Garden Furniture DIY. And it's the last one that I did, 2015. You'll be able to find it.
Okay, no, definitely. If people are on YouTube, just put up in that search bar, again, Gild the Garden, and your videos are a lot of fun. They're pretty cool on there.
Thank you.
I know I saw a houseplant guru in the house a minute ago, so she'll probably like this, I see, because she's into making those little terrariums. And then, what is that? The pearl coming out? What is that?
Those are called mother of pearl succulents. Those are actually winter succulents. If you buy them in the summer and then leave them out in the sun, they're going to shrivel up. So make sure they're either indoor or in a shaded area. Because a lot of people make the mistake with succulents. They think all succulents belong in the sun, but no, there's shaded succulents, and then there's your sunny succulents. This one was going indoors. My neighbor brought this globe home one day and was like, "Can you make me a miniature garden?" And I was like, "Yeah."
There it is. Look at that.
Yeah. So I just made a little terrarium miniature garden there with some succulents cuttings from my garden.
Very cool. You can actually, I mean, you can bring a lot indoors to make these little miniatures. Because I'm thinking like, especially in the fall before, being in the north, it's a nice way to keep just a little reminder, that it'll be warm again, right? Have your own little.
No, actually, yeah. It's funny that you mentioned that, Bren, because like 99% of my fairy gardens were all outside at some point. But it's really hard with that intense summer sun that we get, and it just kills my fairy garden. So I had to move everything inside. Yeah. That's why the inside of my apartment is so cold.
That's all right. Let's see.
So
very cool. So we have quite a few people in the chat room. Once again, I'm going to invite you. Please ask any questions you may have. Very fun. And also, let's see. I have another picture here. Let's see. Maybe we can talk about. Oh, this is just like your collection here, right?
Yeah, that was all the furniture I made for the fairy garden episode that I just told you about.
Very cute. Let's see. Oh, she's digging. She's digging. I have this one. I wonder, was this one from one of the artists that you talked about? I don't know. Okay.
Yes, that's Genevieve Gale. I love her stuff. She I'm not quite sure where she's based out of, but I've seen a lot of her stuff online. She's so imaginative. I love Genevieve Gale. She's a great place to she's a great miniature garden artist.
Let's see here. Oh, cute. Okay, wait. Look at that.
I made this one as part of the fairy down. Fairy down. We've got a fairy accident here. No, I'm kidding. These are this is the same set I did from the miniature episode on YouTube. And this is actually Genevieve Gale Gypsy Garden, this flower here. And then I just made these out of skewers.
Very cute. Yeah. Really?
Yeah, and added a little button for the table.
Oh, I see. And then you like just put little beads on the backs of the chair. Yeah. Oh, how cute is that?
And there's I love these little mushrooms that you can get.
Yeah, I have a lot of those. I see those everywhere.
Yeah, the mushrooms are really popular.
Do you have directions on how to make those chairs? That is really cute.
You know what? I don't, but I should. Yeah. Thank you. I should do a YouTube with me making just speed it up.
Or maybe like an infograph or something, whatever those things are, and put it on your Facebook or something.
Yeah, definitely. I actually have pictorials of making benches, but I don't have a video of making.
That is really cute.
Making the
what is like the seat on that thing? How did you the seat on the chair? Like, how did you make that?
Oh, just
like
that's.
Oh, look at that. Okay, like you did the popsicle sticks. The same idea.
Yeah, but this is just with
skewers. Or you could use toothpicks. Even really, I mean, that'd be a little chair, but.
Exactly. And again, you know, if you go to the park and just start collecting sticks, you just make your furniture just based on whatever. Like, for instance, these were bigger, so I just kind of made them like medium size. You know what I mean? So you can, when I compare the chairs right next to each other, you can see one is smaller than the other one. Yeah. So this is going to be for a little bit of, you know, a bigger fairy garden.
So like, when you cut those, like say the skewers, what do you use? Just like pruners or something?
I'm glad you asked. I use these.
Oh wow,
these are serious.
No kidding. Those are like those are more like masculine than my pruners. Holy cow! I live in the woods, man. No, I mean, it's crazy.
I gotta tell you, it is not. Every stick is different. No stick is alike. Yeah. You know, the skewers are really simple to cut because they're just skewers. But sometimes I'll find a stick that, you know, it's not working, and I'm like, I'm not going to go for it. If it's hurting my hand, I'm like, you
need to get the saw out for that one, right?
No, and then it's like, oh, this is the thing.
That's like American Girl doll size furniture, right?
Right. Actually, when I made the chair that big, I had to use a saw. Sawzall. Yeah.
Totally.
But yeah, so let's see if I have any. Oh, I have this one too.
Just move them really slow. It makes me nervous.
I know. No, they're fine. They're. I'm just going to take this little ladder leads up to it. But this is a little miniature. Okay. Here's the deal. There is no plants in here. There is a reason for that. There's no plants in here. There's a reason for that. Can you see it okay?
Yeah, looks great.
Okay. So I have a really dark hall. There's like no light, no life. I tried to put orchids there one time and tried to get a little bit of the bathroom sunlight to creep in, and it just but I love fairy gardens and I want to feel like I'm always in the garden. So I made this little
so cute
fairy garden with the fake moss just because I wanted to feel like I was in the garden even though I wasn't, and I was in the darkest part of my apartment.
You know what? You just totally inspired me to make something for my half bath, the one in my sunroom. I have no windows and it's very dark in there. In fact, I have this very pathetic little fake succulent in there, an terrarium thing, just because I could make one of those in that room.
Exactly. And it's really easy too. If you just use moss, get a couple little sticks from your garden, glue gun, a couple little miniature fairy pots.
Oh, that's cute. Where do you find those?
I actually found this in Ohio.
Go figure.
Yes. This was at an antique shop that I can't think of it for now.
Oh, that's okay.
The name of it.
We have like a million antique shops.
Okay. But yes, it was from an antique shop there. It wasn't a fairy garden shop at all. And that's actually what I love about being a miniature gardener. You never know what you're going to find at any given time at Goodwill or at Joann's or at, in the middle of the desert. Right. You never know what's going to inspire you to make something.
No, that's awesome. So we have quite a few people in the chat room still. That's a fun thing about the Blab. People just keep popping in and out. And thank you for joining us. I'm Bren, the host of this Garden Chat Live, and I'm here today with Shelly. She's out in California. And we're talking miniature gardens today. So if you have other gardening questions, you're more than welcome to join us over on Twitter at #GardenChat, or, follow us on Blab here. I'm sure we'll have a topic that will help you with other gardening questions. So thanks for joining us, though. If you'd like to ask a question about miniature gardening, just do the / and a Q and ask your questions. We're excited. We're having a good time here.
Yes, I could talk miniature all night.
I'm excited now. I want to get outside and, well, it's dark, but I'll have to do it tomorrow. But now I have an idea from my bathroom. That's awesome.
I'm telling you, yeah, and I love feeling like I'm in the garden all the time. So when I've got a little dark hallway, I'm like, no, I gotta fix it.
I don't even know if those air plants would survive in a room without any windows, right? No.
Contrary to what one might believe about air plants, they're just like orchids. They need at least some diffuse light. So yeah, in a dark hallway, a Tillandsia would not work.
Somebody's talking about, I don't know what that plant is. Go great in the bathroom. I'm not sure what that is. So sorry.
Okay. No, I'm looking for my other miniature gardens here. Let me grab one thing. Is that okay?
Totally. This is fun. You guys, I'm so excited everybody's joined us here today. This is a lot of fun. It's like a little show and tell at Shelly's place.
Yes, come over anytime. I'm happy to have you.
Look here. Oh my goodness. Look at that.
Okay, so this one's a little bit bigger.
No, I noticed it's a really tall container. I'm guessing, I hope you use something in the bottom, like maybe, have you heard of upsy daisies? They're really old. Like, they've been around for a while. It's like a circle you put in your container, so you don't have to. Okay.
Oh yeah.
So you don't have to put soil.
Yes, I do.
Okay. You wouldn't have to fill that whole thing with soil.
No, I've actually, I'm glad you brought this up because I heard about that. A lot of people actually do that with raised beds too, right?
You can. Yeah, you can. Mm-hmm.
Not filling the whole thing.
Right.
So here we go.
Look at that. That's cute.
This is okay. I'm gonna.
Where did you get those lawn chairs? Those are cute.
Okay, confessional right now. All right. These are part of the Genevieve Gale Gypsy Garden collection. Okay, I am not in the business of disrespecting artists. These were different colors when I got them. I only painted them because I made the mistake of putting the furniture out in the sun, and the beautiful paint that came with it, it just all faded. So I said, oh my gosh, I really love these chairs, so I painted over them. So if by some strange chance Genevieve Gale is watching, I would never paint over anybody's thing. It just so happened that I just wanted to salvage the chairs, so I painted them myself. But she's got these chairs available. You can get them online, and they're a different color. They're gorgeous. I love her stuff because all of her decorations and accessories are so bright and colorful. But that's where these little chairs are from.
Very cute. Very cute. Look at that.
This is Jade. So actually, this is a good time to bring this up. Bonsai gardening. There is such thing as bonsai succulents. For instance, jade is a bonsai succulent. So this jade is going to grow up and eventually form a trunk. So over time, this is going to look much like a tree. It's going to grow up right here, probably about that tall. And so it's going to look like a tree.
I wonder
in the
if it'll
background.
bloom like the one you shared. I think you shared it on Twitter. Jade was blooming.
You know, yeah, if you move your jade outside when temperatures reach about like 30, 40, then it will bloom. But you got to take it back inside. Don't let it get down to like the 20s because then you're really cutting it close. But yeah, like 30s, 40s, it'll start to bloom.
Huh.
Yeah.
Cool.
I don't even feed my jade. It's all about the cold.
Okay. I remember that. I'd love to get mine to bloom. It's doing really well, but
take it out as soon as it starts getting cold in the fall. Take it outside.
Very cool. So it looks like Green Blessings in the chat room here with us live, and she says that well, she's a fan of the Gypsy Garden as well. How cool! I wonder, is that the company that did? So I shared that little the trailer or the the little camper, the like retro. They also have like a barn display and little chickens and very cool.
She's got a lot of different themes going. And you know what? She even has a beach one.
Oh, how cool.
Yes. You can go to her website. She's a great miniature garden artist. I love her stuff.
It's a lot of fun. How exciting. This is cool stuff.
Yeah. So I'm trying to look around my apartment.
I'm like, ooh, what's next? What's next?
Let's see here. Let's see. I'm just like,
I know, right?
I think I grabbed all of my fairy gardens that I can grab.
Okay. It's fun. I think we're having a good time here. Let's see. I'll peek and see if I have any more photos here.
I actually have one more that I can grab while you're pulling that up.
This is a lot of fun. Let's see. We got the chairs. Oh, I think we covered this one. This is the cute little, here we go. Here's that picture.
That's the tent before I added the moss and everything else. So do you see how easy that is? All you got to do is just glue gun, or you can even use regular glue, and you've got a little tent, and you can do that with sticks as well. You don't even need popsicle sticks. You can just gather all the little sticks in your garden.
That's very cute.
And you know what? And if you want to make it with your granddaughter or grandson, Bren, if you don't feel comfortable having them use the glue gun, I don't know how old they are.
Yeah, it's my niece. No grandbabies yet, thank God.
Okay. So you need,
she's little for a glue gun. She'd want to use it, but Yeah, no, I would not suggest. I can remember. What about they've got those little glue like dots almost. I wonder if you could let them use those. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I use those too. I know exactly what you're using those. Those are
keep her occupied. It gets stuck to her fingers, so that would be a nice little time-consuming thing, right?
Elmer's glue too. It works just as well. It just takes longer to dry.
It's fun.
Yeah, I'm a little bit impatient.
Yeah. How fun.
So this is just like a little nautical theme. Yeah, I made this last minute. Had to have it hanging. I went to Catalina Island and I became inspired by the rock beaches that they have. You can see here, there's rocks. They don't have sand. It's rocks. So I said, you know what? I want to go home and make something inspired by that. So wherever I go.
Love that. And it's got your little trademark hat there. Very cute.
Exactly. I love this. I love these little things. They get me every time. These little pots. I can't get enough of it. I belong in a real fairy world, I'll tell you that.
Need some wings. Do you have wings?
I do have wings. I need to just put them on and live as a fairy always. Again, the basket I found
look at that.
At Goodwill, and I was like, I don't know what I'm going to use them for, how I'm going to use them, but I know that I'm going to use them.
I love it. That's very cute.
Yeah.
Let's see. So very exciting. This is my brain's going to blow up. I have so many ideas now from you. This is
It's all about inspiration. It's all about inspiration. And when you really start thinking about it, then it'll all start coming to you. Like, oh, I can use this for this. Just shrink everything down. If you're in, Paris, you find something that inspires you, and you can just recreate that in miniature.
That's a great idea. Just take a little baggie and take little pieces of where you're at and bring it home and recreate it, right?
Or just take photos of little park benches that you see and try and recreate that same image. I did a fairy garden episode based on a pond that I saw in the Mojave Desert. And I thought, how am I going to make this pond? I live in an apartment. I can't dig up a pond in my, in my garden. And so I thought, well, you know what? I've got blue sand. So I made a little pond, a miniature pond that now I look at, and it always reminds me of that time that I spent by that pond in the Mojave Desert.
That's very cool.
All about inspiration.
I love that. No, that's great. So we have Renewal of 48. I think that's how you say your name. She said it's probably the prettiest world. It's probably a prettier world. Huh. Yeah, maybe. Fairy gardens. Yeah. I think all gardens are beautiful.
I think so too. I think fairy garden, I've seen actually fairy gardens on a large scale, where people are making, we were talking about scale earlier, they're just making it, it's maybe a medium size, but they want the feel of this enchanted forest, I've seen people carve chairs out of tree trunks and make these like fairy chair, life-size fairy chairs. It's all very imaginative, and that's why I love it, because it's adding just a different element to gardening. Definitely. You already have that passion there to grow and sow seeds and just dig your hands in the dirt. But then when you condense it into miniature size, it's like you've got this whole little world at your fingertips. And for me personally, it's just the most amazing thing.
Totally. And I'm sure everyone in the chat room probably agrees with you. I don't know. It's kind of cool to just find yourself out in the garden, right?
Yeah. And you can be silly by creating these little miniature landscapes, just relive. I don't know if you ever play with Barbies. I used to play with Barbies and little miniature things, and it's kind of like I'm a kid again. It's really, it just takes you away from this adult world. You know what I mean?
No, totally. I totally agree. Yeah. So if you joined us earlier on the Twitter chat, Garden Chat, we had a giveaway going on, and that's sponsored tonight by the Fairy and Miniature Garden Society. Did I say that right, Shelley? I bet I slaughtered it. Did I say it right?
Miniature
okay,
Garden
awesome.
Society.
A lot of words.
Cool. Arlena Scott heads that up, right?
She's in the chat room, and you can follow her at Green Blessings on Twitter, and she's also on Blab here. Please follow them, and I know Shelley will probably be sharing a lot coming up as well. Yes. The event is July, I want to say 22nd or 23rd.
I believe it's 22nd. Okay. Yeah, I confirm that. If Arlena can jump in here and confirm
that would be great. It goes on for a couple of days. I know that. And I do remember, I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, but I saw something about like a fairy parade or something, maybe. I don't know. I don't know if I'm giving out secrets.
No. I saw that today as well. There was, for the first time, a fairy parade.
Thank you, Arlena. It is the 22nd, 23rd, and 24th of July in Ohio, Northwest Ohio, Perrysburg, Toledo area. Very cool.
And the Miniature Fairy Garden Facebook page, if anyone wants to join that, if anyone's into miniatures.
Definitely. So they sponsored our giveaway tonight, and Arlena is agreeing that there is a parade. That's going to be fun. Oh, that's going to look adorable if that's if they have that at 577, just the kids, and I don't know, can adults participate in that? That'd be fun.
Well, just spoiler alert, my husband plays the fairy in my fairy garden video. So yes, adults can be here.
That's awesome. That is very cool. And I've seen that. It is cute. So people need to follow you, follow Shelly at Gild the Garden on YouTube. You're primarily over there on Twitter, right?
Yeah. Oh, Instagram, Twitter. Those are my main two platforms.
Lots of fun, and that makes sense.
Google Plus.
That's true. Yeah. So let's see. So Green Blessing is also inviting everybody. Please come over, check out the event page. We can tweet that page out after the event. And so we had the giveaway, and I have my little helper, my little fairy helper. I give her a new name, helping me out, checking out the Twitter feed. And it looks like we had a winner, Annie Garden, it's Annie, ANNEGRN Gardens. It looks like she had the most likes on her photo tweet. So I think she's the winner of that Jeremy products, the accessory that we're giving away from Green Blessings. And very exciting. Thank you for sponsoring that. And it's going to be a great event. This was fun. Did you have fun? It was fun.
I had so much fun. I could talk miniature all night. So we better cut the feed before I do.
You got 3 hours on me, so it's past my bedtime.
No, please. I have some fairies to feed, so I'm just kidding.
That's cute.
No, I'm joking. This has been a lot of fun. I can't wait for the conference. I can't wait to actually meet Arlena in person. I haven't met her. And I'm looking forward to meeting other miniature enthusiasts.
A lot of fun. Very exciting.
I couldn't think of a better place. Ohio is fantastic. I love it.
Thank you. We like having you. This will be fun. So thank you again, everyone who joined us tonight. And thank you, Shelly, our special guest. That was awesome. I'm going to go ahead and go off the record here.